Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. Welcome back to my playthrough of Ace Attorney Investigations. We're gonna continue from where we left off here. We're gonna find out the truth about the attempted assassination of the President Zhengfa. So hope that you guys enjoy this part. If you do, drop a like. Let's continue from where we left off here. A new development. With the death of Bastion Rook and the revelation that Shelley the killer was in our midst, the case had taken a turn we could have never predicted. Mr. Knight ordered that the door to the presidential plane be opened, and the emergency personnel attending to Mr. Rook's body were asked to leave. With the scene cleared, we stepped cautiously aboard. March 25th, 4:15 p.m. Zhengfa presidential plane. But, how, if he was shot on stage, why is his body here on the plane and he's still holding the revolver? No president in sight. Now where could he be? Who knows? So he's hiding behind the bulkhead door over there, is he? As courageous in the face of danger as ever. Sorry to disappoint, but did you seriously expect him to be standing here waiting to meet his assassin? As we have already established, my interest lies only in the successful conclusion of this investigation. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, if you would be so kind as to examine the body. Alright. My only option right now is to play along. The rest is up to you, Detective Gumshoe. So the attempted assassination of the president has become the murder of a bodyguard. You look like you could use a little help, there, Mr. Edgeworth. Not that I need it, but yes. That's what I thought. Then there's nothing else for it. Hey Faraday, great thief extraordinaire. We'll just have to take it from here. Oh really? You mean you're going to solve the case for me? Nope. I thought not. But I will provide vital assistance. Now let's get to scout this crime scene from top to bottom. It will take Detective Gumshoe a while to assemble our backup, so I'll need to draw this part of the investigation out for as long as possible. What's this back here? Someone has left an inflatable boat and oar here. Probably so it's ready to go at any time. Wait, but there's only one oar. You can still row with one oar, you know. What's with the masks? The gas masks. 2 gas masks, in case of a poison gas attack, I suppose. The president certainly seems to think he's at risk of assassination at all times. And the thing is, this would look really bad for this president if he's using, basically, foreign private security to protect him. It shows he doesn't trust his own people. Wow, gas masks. Never seen one before. I've heard plenty about them, of course. Oh, from a fellow thief, I presume. No, from the Gem and Ninja, you know. My favorite kids' TV show. Princess Murasaki was getting married, but Toxic Ninja Wolfsbane showed up to lay down some sick burns. And time to tune out. Might save myself a brain cell or two. Okay, let's look at this body. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. The gunshot. The bullet seems to have entered just under his armpit and went clean through his body. The bullet passed through the victim. Where did it end up? He was hit in an area his bulletproof vest didn't cover. Like it was on purpose or something, huh? The cause of death would appear to be a loss of blood. Attempts were made to staunch it, but to no avail. The victim bled to death from a gunshot wound to the torso. The bullet passed clean through his body. The medics must have been, brought in to try and save him. Sadly, it was too little too late. You know, I wonder why Shelley really wants us to solve this crime. And he said that he knew Rook, so I wonder if Rook actually hired him to kill the president. That's actually possible. Also, Shelley is a horrible hitman, but he also values his clients a lot. But one of his clients betrayed him in the earlier Ace Attorney games, and he got really angry. It's the victim, Mr. Bastion Rook, bodyguard to the President Zhengfa. He's one of the guys that brought the president inside as soon as the shooting started, which means he continued to do his duty right up until his dying breath. At least he'll get posthumously promoted. Okay, it's better to know when to say nothing at all than to end up with your foot in your mouth. What do you mean? I mean, bodyguards don't even operate on the same rank promotion system as the police in the first place. What's with the gun? The victim was also carrying a revolver. It looks like he was trying to use it. He probably drew it on instinct when he felt threatened. We should check to see if he managed to fire any rounds off. All there, and no other signs of the weapon having been used. Was this one on loan from Zhangfa too? Yup, sure was. We're always issued with the same model gun. It's a bulletproof attaché case. Bodyguards use them to shield their clients from gunfire. There was some encased photograph too. And here's the thing about these cases, this is actually true, that there are bulletproof suitcases that bodyguards do carry around. A perfect example that I can think of this is the dictator of North Korea, Kim Jong-un. His bodyguards actually carry around bulletproof cases. And some people believe that there's actually a gun in the case too. But I'll actually show a picture of that right there. So if you're ever wondering why Kim Jong-un's bodyguards are constantly carrying around suitcases, that's the reason why. It's to shield him from gunfire. It looks like Rook and Knight each had one. Designed to provide protection from gunfire, Knight and Rook were each issued one. Oh hey, that's the photo I snatched. You can hardly steal a photo at a public event, Kay. But I'm snatching up a moment in time with every picture I take, you know? I take it snatch is your new favorite word. Heh, maybe. What's this? It's a bank of monitors displaying camera feeds from in and outside around the plane. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. What's with the doll here? What is this? What on earth is this? Oh, that is the president's favorite plushie. It's a memento of something. Anyway, don't touch. Well, if that's the case, then why has it been left up here like nobody cares about it? Yeah, that is pretty weird. It certainly wouldn't be the first place I would think to display a beloved item. Wait, are those shards of glass underneath it? I thought something seemed strange about this cubbyhole, but now I'm sure of it. There was almost certainly another monitor here. Screen showing footage from in and around the aircraft. One monitor is missing. So probably that's... yeah. Probably the killer probably did not want that caught on the tape. So Knight is probably the killer. He's probably the one involved in this somehow. Because that monitor probably covered the angle where he was shooting from. That's the outside of the plane. Most intruders could not hope to approach without being spotted. But such measures would be mere child's play in my case. Whoa, you're saying you can get past cameras like these without being seen? Of course, with ease. You have to teach me how, please. Are you taking on apprentices by any chance? Kay, you do realize who you're talking to, don't you? Sorry. Had to ask, though. What a great skill for a great thief to know. Unfortunately for you, I am not the type to take on understudies. You're not, huh? Shame. Shame? In what way exactly? These monitors are displaying the cockpit and parts of the plane's exterior, but I don't see anything out of the ordinary. What's this? Oh, this is our monitor right now. This monitor is displaying a feed of this very room. They didn't go cheap when they bought these, huh? Very high res. Oh, I'm afraid I can't quite tell myself, but I can even see the little crow's feet around your eyes. Oh, my bad. They're just the usual deeply etched lines, you know, on your forehead. If you're quite finished. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. What's with the vest here? What's with this? That looks heavy. So this is what a president wears, huh? Must be made of something super special. Yes, to protect him from bullets. What? So it's not just for show? Of course not. This is a bulletproof vest. Found on the desk with a bullet lodged in it. Is it the president's? Oh, so that's what one of those looks like. Why didn't you just say so? Now I feel silly. Documents of some kind. We could always steal a glance. Another security plan. Oh yeah, like the one from the trash can. Precisely. So the killer had to have access to the plane, which means that this is Knight who did it, because the killer smashed the camera, and also there's an extra copy of the plans. But wait, something feels off. The president's safety is paramount. Spectators should be covered at all times. Also uncovered, the Rook and Knight are in different places. The two plans are different. Was the security detail reorganized at some point? Huh. Oh, you're right. Yeah, we made some last-minute changes yesterday. President's orders. Why the urgency? Because of what happened the day before. The killer here tried to take him down. He infiltrated the security detail, posed as one of us. Rook figured it out at first, but not before the guy got within striking distance of the president. If our leader hadn't stepped in just then, we'd all have been out of a job. That's how Knight got his injury there? But why didn't they take him down then? But he made it, and our friend here wound up with a seriously twisted arm. Rook put a bullet in it for good measure too. And where were you while this was happening? You were the first one I overpowered, were you not? Oh, that's embarrassing. Shut up, kid! Ah, now I get it. Your neck has barely begun to heal, and you've already forgotten who I am? I'm disappointed. Well, it's you! Busted up my neck so bad, I can't even look to my right. I was somewhat astonished to have sustained an injury at all. Testament to Mr. Rook's skill, he was truly a master of his craft. Unlike a certain other someone I could mention. I'm just as good as he ever was. You were a pawn to his queen, my young friend. What the heck do you know? So that's why you remember Mr. Rook's name. You admired his skills as a bodyguard. Indeed. While I was serving on the team, I learned the names of all the operatives. But his in particular stayed with me. It joined the very short list of those who have ever successfully wounded me. So that's the connection he was talking about. And that's why we changed up the security plan. Had to be sure there weren't any more assassins in the ranks. The president didn't want anybody on stage he didn't trust, and he only trusts two people. Me and Rook. Diagrams of the president's security arrangements, which were changed only yesterday. How does that explain your change of position? Oh yeah, he switched over to the right-hand side. I told you, I can't turn my neck to the right. Could only cover the president's left side. So I wound up moving to the right side of the stage. Knight can't turn his head to the right, so he was moved to the right side of the stage. What's this? A curious figure of a curious animal with a curious expression is staring straight at me. And look, there's a big lever right by his butt. Don't even think about it. Oh, I wasn't thinking anything, I swear. I imagine that lever opens the panels beneath my feet. Ah, I see. So he's standing on a trap door. I strongly advise you not to pull it. Do so and you will regret it. You know, I'm okay with taking some advice, especially when it's from a professional killer. These personal safety alarms are very colorful. Looks like they get a lot of use as well. I like the president. He seems like a thoughtful guy. Buying these for his kids, maybe his wife too. Why would they all be here if that was the case? No, these are for his own personal use. Objection, Your Honor. It's simply not possible for one person to use this many personal alarms. Why, you ask? Because he is human, and therefore possesses only 2 hands. 20 hands wouldn't be enough to count the number of objections I have to that objection. A riot shield. Next to it, a canary in a cage. Aw, she's so sweet. I want one. Did you ever see a cuter partner in crime? Partner in crime. Well, yeah, she could help me with lockpicking, stuff like that. A great thief is no greater ally than nature, Mr. Edgeworth. Sadly, such birds are most commonly used for detecting poisonous gases. Wait, this one isn't actually for that, is it? The president is on the other side of this door. And what a door it is. But I could get the better of it, though. Get the better of it. Doors aren't there to be beat. But look how heavy it is. Look at that lock. It's just sitting there, begging me to try it. Calm down, Tay, and think. Why might this door be locked? For me to open it, of course. Precisely, for you to open it, of course. Wait, what is the right answer anyway? Suspicion of murder. I didn't do it, I'm a reporter. I bagged scoops, not souls. But then why lie about your jacket and the laser sight? That was... I just, knew y'all would think it was fishy. Is that really all it was? Please, you gotta believe me. I could never do something like this. I'd like to tell you everything will be alright, but just try not to worry too much. If you really are innocent, I'll prove it. One way or another. Thanks, Chief. I believe in you. How many times should I tell you? I am not your chief. Oh, sorry, Ruffles. Clean forget you were chief number 2. That's not what I meant. Okay. I have high hopes for your investigation. I do hope you won't betray my trust in you. A mutual understanding. Things are progressing well, I hope. There's no need to worry, things are progressing just fine. Remember, I absolutely despise betrayals of all kinds. Yes, I know. Indeed you do. So please do take care not to double-cross me, accidentally or otherwise. I really have no choice but to do as he says for now. About the betrayal, what he's talking about is he's talking about when his client, Matthew Ungard, betrayed him. So, Matthew Ungard hired him to kill, another actor, I forget his name. It was, like, years since I played it. But Ungard, what he did was he recorded him, committing the act, and he tried to use that as blackmail on Shelly, and that was a massive mistake. And Ungard was so scared of Shelly that he, pled guilty just to go to prison to be safe from him. And also, when Shelly talks if you watch the anime, Shelly's voice, he's like a very calm person. It's kind of scary how calm he is when he talks. That's why I talk like that. Can't believe I let an assassin onto the president's plane. You know very well it was for the good of the investigation, Mr. Knight. Don't give me that. I know what you really want. You do indeed, because you heard me say it already. I wish to know the truth behind Mr. Rook's death. But you did also say you were asked to assassinate the president by a certain someone. You seem to have forgotten that there are more pressing matters at hand. I don't often carry out unpaid work, but it's not entirely unheard of. Fine, I'll get back to the investigation. Good. I am expecting great things from you, Mr. Edgeworth. Also, I'm really curious if Rook was the client who hired him, the guy who's dead here. I don't believe there's any more to be found here. Okay. We got a lot of stuff here. The bullet passed through the victim's body. Where did it end up? Bulletproof vest found at a desk. has a bullet lodged in it. Is it the president's? Two bullets were fired in total. We know this because 2 shots were heard. One traveled through the flag and into the balloon. The other took Mr. Rook's life. But there's a bullet in the president's vest too, right? How is that possible? How indeed. The numbers don't add up. However, there is one possible explanation. There is? After passing through his body, the bullet that took Mr. Rook's life then found itself lodged in the vest. In other words, 2 of our bullets were in fact 1. No way. He's right. If the president hadn't been wearing that vest, things could have been a lot worse. And he wasn't injured at all by the impact. Even when obstructed by a vest, the bullet can inflict serious damage. That's true. That if you get hit while wearing a vest, it will save your life, but it's still gonna hurt like hell. Sure, I've known guys who got broken bones that way, but the president's okay. He's made of strong stuff. Sounds like he didn't even need a vest. Let's not get carried away here. I want that bullet's ballistic markings analyzed. Remind me what those are again. It's basically like fingerprints of a gun. Guns leave a unique pattern of grooves on every bullet they fire, true? By examining these grooves, we can use them to identify which gun it came from. Think of them as fingerprints of a sort. Yep, just like I said. You can tell all that from a bullet. Then what are we waiting for? Analyze away. Might be easier said than done. That bullet hit solid armor. The impact will have completely flattened it. You'll be lucky if there's anything left for forensics to find. What? But I was all set for some analyzing. Stop the bullet that passed through the victim. The bullet itself was flat by the impact. Okay, let's see here. What we got? The president was targeted during a speech, a premeditated attack. Rook's gun. 6-shot revolver on loan from Zhengfa has not been fired. 6-shot revolver found in a trash can, not easily acquired in this country. It looks like it was just modified. It looks like the same type of gun. Where is Knight's gun? I'd like to ask Knight where his gun is. I want to ask him that. That's what I would ask him. The 2 guns are exactly the same. Meaning it's likely that the one we found is also from Zhengfa. Found in trash can on the left side of the spectator. 2 spent bullets, same model as the victims. The bodyguards all got their guns from the Zhengfa authorities, right? Yes. Are they, like, super rare or anything? No, I don't believe so. This model isn't exactly easy to come by in this country, but it's certainly not impossible either. Boo, and here I thought they might be valuable treasures. Yes, it is something of a shame. Whoa, I just mentioned treasures, and you actually responded for once. I only mean to point out that if the guns were rare, it would be much easier to trace them. Which would make them treasures of the evidence variety, I suppose. Ah, see? Everything's a treasure hunt one way or another, including this investigation. You could say that. Alright then, it's a treasure hunting time. On with the investigation. She certainly seems a lot more enthusiastic all of a sudden. That's quite enough investigating for now. What is taking so long, Detective Gumshoe? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, have you solved the case? No, not yet. Is that so? Then perhaps interviewing another key witness might help you to do so. Another witness? Who? You don't mean... The most important witness of all, the man on the other side of that door. He really intends to have me question the president. Now, if you would be so kind as to summon him, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop right there, the killer. You're nuts if you think I'd let him anywhere near you. Well, Mr. President, I'm sure you are, watching us through your security feed, aren't you? In which case, I politely request that you show yourself. That is, if you value your bodyguard's life. Urgh. Well then, if nothing else, we now know what kind of man you really are. Mr. President! Stop, you can't do this. Let's all just calm down, alright? Come on, detective. Where the blazes are you? Eek! The lights! What's happening? Listen well, Mr. Edgeworth. I would advise you to stay very still. It seems I will not be granted my audience with the President after all. Even with Mr. Knight's life as my bargaining chip. No, stop! Eek! Kay, you won't get away with this, the killer! I have seen enough, and now I know the truth. Where are you? Where did you go? I leave the rest in your capable hands, Mr. Edgeworth. Is the president dead? Could that be possible? Is that why Knight doesn't want us to talk to him? Mr. Edgeworth. Detective Gumshoe. Sure, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. March 25th, 4:45 p.m. Zangpa presidential, plane. I didn't think they were gonna capture Shelly. Oh, he escaped through that there, yeah, that stuff is gone. That was on that, panel behind him. And now the room's changed a little bit, too. That, what is that, like an astronaut suit and a gas mask suit over there? Hazmat suit? But yeah, I knew Shelly wasn't gonna get caught, because Shelly's too good. Sir, you're okay. Are you alright, Mr. Edgeworth? Never mind me. He didn't hurt you, did he, Kay? Nah, I'm fine. I'm only just woke up myself. My head will be sore for a while, but that's about it. So you can stop worrying. Detective, did you manage to stop the killer? Well, see, Miss Lloyd came running out of the plane and, she told us he'd flown the coop. We were too late. I'm sorry, sir. Bodyguard over there told us something, too. Seems there's an inflatable boat missing, from by the window. The killer must have stolen it and rowed himself across the lake. What about the cordon around the park? I'd call everybody back and stake out the plane, including the guy stationed across the water. No, so he's completely slipped through our fingers. Ah, this shows you how smart Shelly is. You see how smart he is? That he knew there was cops around the woods, around the lake. And so he purposely dragged Knight and Edgeworth and Kay on the plane just so that the police would be called to the plane and then he would escape through the lake because it's an amphibious plane and he would row away and there'd be no cops on the beach. Oh man, yeah, he planned this whole thing out. Not the best look for the department, but yeah. Hey Edgeworth. Mr. Knight, you're alive. Yeah, no thanks to that murderer. Oh, that reminds me. I found this lying on the ground next to you, Mr. Edgeworth. Calling card, marked with a seashell. That's the killer's calling card. Guess he wanted to leave a message. Left behind by assassin Shelly the killer when he made his escape, adorned with his distinctive seashell emblem. The killer usually leaves these next to the bodies of his victims. But you're not dead, sir. But I could have been. Maybe that's the message. Can't stop thinking about his parting words. I've seen enough, and now I know the truth. I leave the rest in your capable hands, Mr. Edgeworth. The president could actually be dead. That's possible. It's possible the president's already dead. Because I can't imagine that Shelly would leave without completing a contract. And that's why the president hasn't opened the door or anything, or even appear in the camera feed. Shelly might know that. Roger that. All clear out here, sir. Over. What's going on? That was the president. He's coming out. Now? Oh, he's alive. Okay, I thought he was dead. So he's the president Zhang, Mr. Din Jun Wang. And you are... It's an honor to meet you, Mr. President. My name is Miles Edgeworth. The honor is all mine, Mr. Edgeworth. I am Di Jun Wang. Your efforts on behalf of Zangpa have not gone unnoticed. You averted something of a crisis. He must be referring to Yatagarazu case. Thank you, sir. Well, all I did was solve a few local cases of murder. You are too humble. I have been observing your investigation. You are an impressive operator, Mr. Edgeworth.
even if the killer did get away.
That's very kind of you to say, though he was watching through his security feed.
Sadly, I must inform you that this is as far as your investigation goes.
What do you mean?
Hear me, foolish prosecutor, for I shall say this only once. Knight has appraised me of the state of affairs. And from this point forward, the case will be handled by Zangpa's police force, the finest in the world.
Even with the killer out of the picture, they're still looking to get me thrown off the case.
What do you think you're doing, pal? Nobody talks to Mr. Edgeworth like that. If it hadn't been for him, the killer would have...
Detective, forgive him, Mr. President, but I must confess to being somewhat confused. I fail to see how or why this case falls within Zangpa's jurisdiction.
You fail to see. Enough, puny prosecutor. You seek explanations from a head of state? I say no, 1,000 times no. I will not explain myself to you. Now hand over the evidence you have gathered and remove yourself from this plane.
I'll do as he says if I was you, Miss Edgeworth. This can't really be the end of the line, can it? Case evidence handed to Mr. Knight. Why? Why let us come so far only to pull the case out from under us? There's some kind of cover-up going on here. Something's going on here.
Now, you may leave. Knight, detain the suspect.
Yes, sir, right away.
To make an attempt on my life, to murder one of my faithful servants, the effrontery, the villainy.
I didn't murder nobody. Cause I... Shut your mouth, Miss Journalist.
Answer me this. In a world already lousy with lies, with deception, with sin and iniquity, can we stand by and suffer yet another crime to go unpunished? I say no, 1,000 times no. There can be no forgiveness. There can be no surrender. Why, you ask me? Then I will tell you.
He's hiding something. I'm certain of it. And if I leave now, we'll never know the truth.
Mr. Edgeworth, sir.
Mr. Edgeworth, there's got to be something we can do. Think, Miles. Remember, how many times have you faced situations like this in the courtroom? You've confronted the lies of witnesses and countered the arguments of other lawyers. Has the critical evidence always been laid at your feet? No. And yet you always got to the truth of the situation in the end. With your greatest weapon of all, your words. Now, let's analyze the state of play.
Be gone, puny prosecutor, or you dare defy the direct order of a president.
He's not going to listen. He clearly needs to drown out any objection by means of pure rhetorical force. When an opponent is on the offensive, the best thing I can do is bide my time and wait for an opening. As he said himself, he's a head of state, a seasoned politician. He won't open himself up to attack easily. Can't let him bully me into submission. I have to stay calm and alert. If I can read his movements and expressions correctly, I may be able to find my moment. My first aim should be to find out why he's insisting on Zangpa taking over the case. The board is set. Time to make my opening gambit. Mind chess. Okay. Here we go. Who will take over the case? Find out why he's taking over the case. Explain to me why I'm off the case. Why I'm off the case. Who will take over the case? Explain to me why I'm off the case. Could you at least explain to me why I'm off the case?
Imbecile! Cease your insolent jabbering. I need not explain myself to you. My reasons are my own, and they are none of your concern.
If I want to take this any farther, I'll need a clue of some kind. Let me try another check for now. Who will take over the case? Please, about the case.
Did I give you permission to speak? No, 1,000 times no.
Bide my time.
I am the leader of Zangpa. I have no time for your insolent back chat.
Yeah, it says thank you to the guy who saved your country. I was simply hoping to confirm one basic fact. You say that the investigation will now be assigned to your National Police Force.
I do. Now enough of your pointless questions.
Bide my time again.
Good boy. The interior of this plane is the sovereign territory of Zangpa. You have no rights here.
Is that so? That's what I was thinking he would say, that the plane's the territory of Zangfa. Could it be that our current location itself is significant somehow? I should keep that in mind. It could be a useful clue. I've exhausted this avenue of inquiry. Let me try another angle. Explain to me why I'm off the case. Could you at least explain to me why I'm off the case?
Imbecile! Cease your insolent jabbering. I need not explain myself to you. My reasons are my own, and they are none of your concern.
Perhaps it's time to employ my clue. Are they related to our current location? In the course of our conversation, I've deduced certain facts from your behavior, Mr. President. For example, you seem particularly aggressive when discussing our current location.
You smarmy, smart Alec.
As you said yourself, the presidential plane is the sovereign territory of Zangpa. And from that, we can infer that you believe the rules of extraterritoriality apply inside here. Is that correct?
Enough! Cease your objectionable whining.
Bide my time.
If you have nothing else to say, then stop wasting my time and get out of my sight.
Maybe there is such a thing as biding my time too much. I can't let him bully me into the back foot. I have to stay calm and alert. If I can read his movements and expressions correctly, I may be able to find an opening. Explain to me why I'm off the case. Okay, this one, we've done this before here. You can rant and roar all you like, but you won't escape my scrutiny. It was unmistakably. The moment I mentioned extraterritoriality, you became visibly agitated.
You think you're clever, don't you? Let me answer your little question. It's true. Extraterritoriality applies. Your laws mean nothing here. And what does that matter, you ask? It matters because it means you are powerless. You have neither influence nor authority here.
Interesting. So the extraterritorial issue does have something to do with all of this. Heh. Let's dig a little deeper into the claim that the plane is sovereign territory, shall we? This next move will surely decide the victor. He may be the president, but nobody's untouchable. I just have to find the right angle of attack. Does that rule really apply here? You believe that extraterritoriality applies here, but can you prove it?
Do you even understand what you are asking?
Of course. If I didn't, I wouldn't ask it.
Have you no shame? Calling into question the good word of one such as myself.
I have nothing to be ashamed of. You're the one who should be ashamed. Bide my time.
I have no more time for this. You clearly cannot be saved from your own foolishness.
You needn't worry about me. I'm not the one who needs a saving. That would be Miss Lloyd, the woman who is being wrongfully accused of this crime.
Your chivalry is admirable, but it changes nothing. The right to extraterritoriality cannot be denied. This is Zangfa.
If I want to take this any further, I'll need a clue of some kind. Let me try another tag for now. You've overplayed your hand. Surely you see that you've overplayed your hand.
Nobody asked for your opinion. You need only obey me, nothing else.
Bide my time.
You dare tell me how to govern, how to lead. You dare contradict me.
On the matter of Miss Lloyd's guilt, yes, I do.
No! She is guilty. She is the culprit. There's nothing left to debate.
Well, I have plenty to say. I'll do this. You must have realized by now what a massive corner you've talked yourself into.
Worthless, meaningless bluster. Some pathetic ploy to buy time, perhaps.
Maybe it was a little pathetic to chime in like that here. Can't let him bully me into the back foot. I have to stay. If I can read his movements and expressions, I may be able to find an opening. You've overplayed your hand. Bide my time. I'm gonna get better at this over time. I'm still used to this new minigame.
Who else could have fired from outside the plane? There is no other viable suspect.
Fascinating. So he's claiming that Miss Lloyd fired at him from outside the plane. This could be a vital clue. You believe the extraterritorial applies here. Can you prove it? Time to deploy my clue. Yeah, this one. I may not be able to call the extraterritoriality of the presidential plane into doubt. However, she fired outside the plane, which makes it the case of it's in the jurisdiction of America. According to you, she shot at you from outside the aircraft, correct? In which case, extraterritoriality could not possibly apply in this case. Your assertion is entirely without merit, and the detainment of Miss Lloyd cannot be justified.
How could I have bested by a mere prosecutor? But I am the president! The president!
Checkmate. I trust you won't mind if we continue our investigation now, Mr. President.
I hereby officially and unreservedly confer my approval. Consider a gesture of the magnanimity and generosity for which my good office is known. Yes, for without noble acts such as these, unmistakably and irrefutably, for which reason we hereby... There can be no other outcome, for our goals are lofty and our hearts. People of Zangfa, I swear to you here and now, this investigation will continue.
All that when he could have just said, okay, you got me. Mr. Knight, if you would care to return the evidence.
Take it.
Case evidence retrieved from Mr. Knight. We did it, Mr. Edgeworth. We sure did. And now the investigation can continue.
Whatever. Enjoy your pocket full of pawns. I'll be over here enjoying how you put them into play.
Then you will definitely enjoy my next move. Mr. President, one more favor if you would be so kind.
What is it?
Could you please give us your testimony concerning the incident itself?
Now you want me to testify?
Whoa. That's your next move?
If you want the president to testify, you'll have to take him to court.
All in good time, Mr. Knight. He will get his day in court soon enough. But if a person of interest refuses to cooperate at the investigation stage of the process, they are obliged to provide detailed justification as to their reasons for doing so.
That's...
What's the matter? Is there something you rather we didn't know?
Stand down, Knight. I'll do as the prosecutor asks.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Now listen, and listen well.
President Wang's testimony.
Where was I when the incident occurred? The stage, of course. Suddenly, Rook and Knight jumped in front of me. Then, bang! A shot rang out, and plain, unblemished balloon of red exploded nearby. Not hesitating for an instant, my bodyguard tried to escort me back to the safety of the plane. And then, the second shot. The bullet went right through Rook, and lodged itself in the bulletproof vest I was wearing.
I guess if you look at it one way, the president is also a victim here. Yes, the victim of an attempted assassination. Rook was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. But that makes it even weirder. Why would the target of a crime try to obstruct the investigation? My guess is that there's something behind all this that he doesn't want made public.
A cover-up, huh? I knew there was more to this case than meets the eye.
And the president isn't the only one who knows the truth. Isn't that right, Mr. Knight? Time to get to the bottom of this once and for all.
Where was I when the incident occurred? The stage, of course.
Hold it!
And how would you describe the incident exactly?
Oh, you naive little man. Do you really think your silly, simple question will shake me? I was involved in a craven attempt to silence me with cold steel, and while I was speaking to my adoring public, no less. Suddenly, Rook and Knight jumped in front of me.
Hold it!
When they stepped in to protect you, were you aware of the fact that you were being targeted?
Was I aware of the... No! I was aware of my audience, nothing else. When I step up to the podium, I enter another world entirely, a place of rapture, a place beyond words.
Yeah, I think that's called stage fright. I bet you were, like a deer in headlights.
No! 1,000 times no! I remember every second, each moment is indelibly etched in my memory. When Rook and Knight stepped in, I was shocked, overwhelmed, taken aback. Then bang! A shot rang out, and a plain, unblemished balloon of red exploded nearby.
Hold it!
About that red balloon.
Are you trying to test me, Mr. Prosecutor?
No, Mr. President. I simply wish to confirm what you remember.
Very well. There were two very large, very round balloons, one on either side of the stage. Their deep crimson hue stood stark against the sky, just the security plan said they would.
The same security plan we found in the trash can, I assume.
Rook and Knight leapt to my aid just before the balloon exploded. Not hesitating for an instant, my bodyguards tried to escort me back to the safety of the plane.
Hold it!
You said they tried to escort you back to the plane.
Yes, that is exactly what I said. They threw open their attaché cases.
That must be the moment Kay captured on camera.
And immediately moved to help me back onto the aircraft. And then, the second shot.
Hold it!
Do you know where that second bullet went?
Is that how you treat a foreign dignitary? Or do you really think such needling, questions necessary?
Whoa, what's he so upset about?
Must you insist on going over the same details again and again? Even my patience has its limits. You know full well where it went. The bullet went right through Rook and lodged itself in the bulletproof vest I was wearing.
Hold it!
If I may ask, what was the victim like in that moment?
He was a man amongst men, a real hero. The mere impact of the bullet took my breath away, and yet he had the strength to grab me and rush me back inside the presidential plane.
So you and the victim entered the plane together, is that correct?
Yes, he offered his noble protection, and I gladly accepted it. All was as it should be. That sounds nice and all, but doesn't that just mean he's always the first to make his escape?
He's a president detective. Basically, in his job description to do so. Nothing he's saying seems too off base.
Guy's the victim here. Wouldn't that make sense for him to lie to us? Wouldn't make much sense for him to lie to us, you know? Guess we gotta assume he's telling the...
No, one of the things he said is clearly wrong. Think back to the scene of the crime. Huh? Did we miss something? Alright, let me see that evidence again. I might as well take another look myself. He said something incorrect. The angle that he was shot at, it's weird. Rook, knight. How many balloons were there? Were there 2? Started floating to the right side of the lake side, but since it's been popped.
Objection!
You say it was plain red balloon that burst. Yeah. I mean, it was partially red, but it's, the balloon is white and red both. But I strongly beg to differ.
What?
Take a look at this. I think you'd agree that it's hardly plain, wouldn't you?
No! What? Who is that?
Mr. President, meet the Steel Samurai. I would have hoped you might recognize him. Especially if you were hoping to irradiate yourself with the people of this country. Yeah, you need to watch the Jammin Ninja too. He's amazing. So you see, the balloon that was struck by the bullet was anything but plain. It was in fact of the Steel Samurai.
But the briefing mentioned 2 plain red balloons. And there they are in the security plan.
They do look pretty plain, don't they? They're simply round balloons.
Knight, what is the meaning of this? Explain yourself. Yes, Mr. President. It seems the Steel Samurai balloon was borrowed at the last minute, sir.
Borrowed.
That's what we were told. Guess they only reported the incident to us bodyguards, though. Seems there was a little trouble here on the site last night. One of the original balloons burst somehow.
So they swapped it in as an emergency replacement.
Yeah, one of the small stall holders happened to have it. From what I hear, he was more than willing to lend it out. A very happy-go-lucky kind of guy, they said.
Happy-go-lucky stall holder with a Steel Samurai balloon to spare, huh?
They filled just the bottom part up with air to make it look like the ornamental balloon.
So, while it was a Steel Samurai balloon, it was made to look like a plain red one above water. Is that the long and short of it?
Knight, why was I not informed of this? Sorry, sir. We didn't think it was a pressing issue.
And indeed, you saw it and knew no different, correct?
Yes, I suppose so.
But you really have mistaken the Steel Samurai's pants for a red balloon. Still, Mr. President, I struggle to see how you wouldn't have noticed something different about the balloon.
Of course!
What's that outburst for?
Now I remember. I could barely see the balloon.
You couldn't see it.
That's right. The wind was blowing too hard. The flags on the side of the stage were flapping incessantly and blocking my view.
Is that so?
Yes, those 2 flags. They were being blown back towards me.
There would have been a strong wind blowing right around the time of the incident. Strong enough to blow the flags in just such a fashion. Does that conflict in any way with our understanding of the case? Yes, it does. The flags are flying towards the audience, not towards the direction of the balloons. You see those? Yeah, those white lines? Yeah, those are... The bullet went through, from the spectator area, went through the flag and into the balloon. Okay, yeah, yes it does. Thank you, Mr. President. Your testimony has revealed yet another contradiction.
It has.
Yes, a contradiction that could turn this entire case on its head. When I arrived on the scene, the wind had died down and the flags were resting calmly for the most part. But the wind had previously been blowing the flags as the President describes. A certain piece of evidence suddenly takes on a very different meaning. Which piece of evidence contradicts the stated conditions of the stage at the time of the incident? The bullet trajectory. Extrapolations from the bullet trajectory suggest that 2 shots were fired from the left side of the spectator area.
Take that!
Earlier we deduced that the bullet that struck the Steel Samurai balloon and the bullet that passed through the flag were one and the same. From these 2 things, we further deduced that the trajectory that the bullets must have taken. And we concluded that our shooter must have fired from the left side of the spectator area. But if the flags were blowing as the President describes, our conclusion becomes quite different. No way! If the flags were pointed the other direction... Exactly. Our trajectory changes completely. And if we trace that trajectory back to its source, we can ascertain who really fired that shot. Wait, but Mr. Edgeworth, that would mean... Yes, I know. We may not yet understand the reason why, but it can only have been one person who did it. Who does the bullet's new, trajectory implicate as the one that fired the shot? Rook. The victim, he was the leader of the President's security details and appears to have died in the line of duty. Hang on. A professional assassin attempted to kill the President 2 days ago. Rook managed to intercept him and injure his left arm. Bronco Knight, second in command of the President's security detail. Injury means it's unable to turn his head to the right. His current President Zhangfan attempt was made in his life and gave a speech in an event held in his honor. Yeah, it's, Rook. I would say it's Rook. Because the diagram... Yeah, Rook is standing to the... It's Rook.
Take that!
Following the path the bullet leads us to this person here.
Intriguing. So the weapon in question was not a gun, but a boomerang.
Yeah, only a boomerang could have traced a path like that.
Well, Mr. Prosecutor,
Would you care to show me his winged weapon?
can't.
He wouldn't know it, where to find one first. You don't need to overcomplicate this. I simply need to trace the bullet's path. Hang on. Whoever at the end is the person I'm looking for. Who does the bullet's new trajectory implicate as the one who fired the shot?
Take that!
The person who fired that shot was none other than you, Mr. Knight. I guess it makes more sense because he fired towards the flag and the balloon. He fired towards that side, but why exactly then?
What?
The path from the balloon back through the flag leads directly to the spot where you were standing. Well, I was thinking that it was more Rook that fired towards the side, but... Extra polations from bullet trajectory suggest that Knight fired the shots that popped the balloon.
But the guy's one of the president's bodyguards. Why the heck would he go around shooting balloons? This is absurd. What exactly are you trying to imply? That Mr. Knight, a man who has saved my life countless times, is my would-be assassin? Seriously, Edgeworth, we put up with a lot from you, but this? We're President Wang's bodyguards. We're the pieces put on the board to protect the king. I'll handle this, Knight. Sorry, sir. Mr. Edgeworth, the wind was indeed blowing quite fiercely around the time of my speech. But the wind can pick up and die away in an instant, can it not? Therefore, I need proof. Proof that it was blowing hard enough to lift the flags during that crucial moment.
The first shot was fired around the time the president raised his fist. I have a piece of evidence that shows just that. Perhaps it can also show us what was happening with the flag then, too. Yeah, the pictures, case photographs.
Take that!
Your proof is in this picture right here.
This should be good.
Which picture, where? We can see which way the flag was really blowing, right here.
Take that!
Well, do you deny that it clearly shows the flag? There we have it. Proof that it was blowing towards you at the moment of the shooting.
So that means our pal over there did shoot the balloon.
Making him the assassin? Mr. Knight. What's Shelly's role in this? No, he's not the assassin. No, I made a mistake, because... No. Shelly is, but... Mr. Knight is not the assassin. He may have shot the balloon, but the president was on the other side of him entirely, yeah. Therefore, he can't have been aiming at his boss. Oh, and he can't turn. The balloon was to his, Okay, hang on. Because he can't turn his head. Which piece of evidence was that here? He can't turn his head in that direction. Yeah, besides, why would I even shoot the balloon? What would be the point? And watch how you answer, or I might aim for something else next. What? There was a point, I'm sure of it. If I can figure out what it was, perhaps I can finally put this whole conundrum to rest. Knight definitely shot the balloon. The reverse trajectory data shows that Knight shot the right side balloon. That fact alone changes everything about the case. Knight shot the balloon. Knight can't turn its head to the right, so he was moved to the side of the stage. These two gotta be linked. Yeah, they are. Why did Knight's assigned position change? I told you, I can't turn my neck to the right. Could only cover the president's left side. So I wound up moving to the right side of the stage. But is that the only reason? Let's suppose that the plan hadn't changed, that Knight had remained posted on the left. Given that he was unable to turn his head to the right, would he even have been able to shoot the balloon closest to him? Could it be that the security plan was changed for the express purpose of popping one of the balloons? And if we suppose that to be the case, the two plans are different. Was the security detail reorganized at some point? Yeah, we made some last-minute changes yesterday. President's orders. That's right. The president was the one who ordered the change. Change on the president's order so Knight could pop the balloon. The president was targeted during a speech premeditated attack. Changed on the president's orders so Knight could pop the balloon. They knew the assassination was gonna happen. It was because they said at the beginning of this case that his popularity was falling, that he wasn't that popular enough in Zangfa, and a cover-up, like an attempted assassination attempt, could boost his popularity and he could go down as like a hero. If I'm reading things right, the president knew in advance about the balloon shooting. Which means he must have had foreknowledge that he would be in someone's crosshairs today as well. If that's true, then everything else that's been bothering me falls neatly into place. How did the shooter get a gun past such heavy security? And why would they then carry out the shooting wearing such a conspicuous item of clothing? Why use a laser sight that would give away their location in an instant? And how did the president suffer no injuries at all despite a direct hit to his vest? These are the questions that Knight and the president don't want us to consider. There's only one possible reason for Mr. Knight to have fired his gun. To create the illusion of an assassination attempt. What? Huh? Idiot, you do understand what you're saying. Oh, I understand all too well. I understand everything now. Most of all, I understand why you were so keen to take this investigation off my hands, Mr. President. You wanted your real plans to remain hidden. How dare you speak to me that way? Is this some sort of sick joke? Oh, it's no joke. I assure you. It is simply the truth, as revealed by the careful application of logic and reasoning, nothing more. The first shot was fired at Mr. Knight with the specific intention of hitting that balloon. The sound of gunfire and the bursting of the balloon were guaranteed to cause a panic. And then he fired again. He did. Yes, he fired 2 bullets, both of which were aimed at the balloon. As for why he did so, it's because the second shot was designed to create the impression that the president had been hit. So then, what's the deal with the one in the vest? I'm willing to bet that the bullet was planted there long before the shooting ever occurred. So Mr. Heroic President didn't take a bullet after all. That's not true. I was shot, I tell you. We'll be able to verify that for ourselves once we take a closer look at the bullet. At the very least, we can expect to find traces of Mr. Rook's blood on it, correct? That's true. But you said it yourself, you found the shooter in the photograph, the person with the red hood. I thought I made myself clear. The trajectory points to only one possible shooter, Mr. Knight. Then where does Tabby fit into all this? She was simply one part of their plan. In order to place the suspicion elsewhere, they set up about creating a fake assassin. The highly suspicious person with the red hood. I have yet to ascertain exactly how complicit Miss Lloyd was in the whole scheme, but I can say with some confidence that none of the shots were fired by her. I suspect her only job was to point a laser sight at the president. That's right, then I was tasked with turning your jacket inside out the moment the crowd flew into a panic, yes. Thus making the mysterious red-hooded shooter disappear in the blink of an eye. Then when the gun and the security plan were later found in the trash can, it would have all appeared to have been the work of an assassin so skilled they could vanish into thin air. But they would have, a skilled assassin would not drop their gun there in the trash can right near the scene.
But then the case would have gone cold.
Exactly what our friends here were hoping for. Makes sense now why they wanted you off the case. Indeed, because the entire affair was a cheap ruse perpetrated by the president himself. So then, did Rook actually hire Killer, Shelly? What's Shelly's role in this? He's really fat?
No,
The presidential mask has well and truly slipped. Admit it. The entire assassination was a lie, wasn't it?
If that stupid chief prosecutor hadn't insisted on assigning you. How could I let this happen?
Objection!
That's enough, Edgeworth.
Mr. Knight.
Sorry, but I'm speaking with the president right now.
Yeah? Well, I'm doing my job as knight and protecting my king. So go ahead, keep running your mouth.
Perhaps it would be better if we stuck to threatening each other with words. He wouldn't, would he?
Nah, I don't need this thing to shut you up. Alright, my move question. You claim I fired my gun from on stage. How do you figure I did that? In front of a crowd, thousands.
An excellent point. The briefcase. The briefcase. He hid the gun behind the briefcase. You had a certain something that allowed you to conceal your actions.
A certain something? Huh? Mighty specific.
What did Knight use to hide his actions from the crowd? The briefcase, yeah. The briefcase, designed to... Yeah, this. See that? Look at his hand. His hand behind the briefcase. He fired the gun behind the briefcase. He used the briefcase to hide him shooting the gun. Bulletproof attaché case.
Take that!
My attaché case?
Yes. Take a look at case photograph. Your right hand is completely obscured by the case. At the very moment this picture was taken, you were firing your gun. And in such a way that you wouldn't be detected.
Objection!
You don't like that facts get in the way of a good theory, do you, Edgeworth?
Game you don't seem to have noticed.
Notice what?
That the theories are all you have. Conjectures, nothing more. The flag was billowing in the wind at precisely the right moment. I hid my gun up in an attaché case. We changed the security plan because I couldn't turn my head. It's all just speculation. Circumstantial evidence is best. You can't prove any of it. If you at least had the bullet that burst in the balloon, you might have a scrap of credibility. Imagine, you could have run forensics to see if it matched my gun. But no, that bullet is at the bottom of the lake. You gotta go dredge it up?
Well, they can find it. I hate to say it, but he's right. No, they can actually find it. They could. Deep sea dives, they could eventually find it. I don't have anything concrete.
I thought not. Maybe now you can shut your mouth.
Miss Lloyd. Of course, she shed some light on this whole situation to get her to talk. And so, in the first part, I called it. The second I heard that about the president's popularity falling, I thought that he could have faked the assassination attempt. I called it. But here's the question. Why is Rook dead? That's what we haven't figured out yet exactly. What is Shelly's role in this?
What's the matter? Something you want to say, Miss Journalist?
Nah, never mind.
That's what I thought.
Miss Lloyd. I need you to be brave. If you don't speak up, the truth will be lost forever. You are a journalist, after all. Are you not? Dang it. I can't stay quiet any longer.
Hey, you understand what you're doing, right?
I think carefully before opening that mouth of yours. I was so focused on bagging me a scoop, I forgot the most important thing of all. And so I see she was tasked with putting the laser sight, and in exchange for that, she would be the reporter that would have the scoop, the story. That's what, and she might even get an interview with the president. That's probably what she was hoping for. That's what they gave her in exchange. She's a reporter. Real journalists don't lie. Ain't no dang scoop if it ain't the truth. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. I should have showed you this before. What is it? It's a laser sight. It's the laser pointer I use on the president. That's all I done. I never shot nobody.
You stupid. I thought I told you. You squeal, and you go down as an accomplice.
It was him. He told me to do it. I was at Zengpa's embassy sniffing out a story like I told you. That was 3 days back. He comes up to me out of the blue, just starts talking. Help me out, and I'll get you an exclusive access to the president. That kind of stuff. I knew it. I called it. But what about the gun in the trash can? That I don't know nothing about, I swear it. All he told me was to wear a jacket with a red hood, and to point, and to point that there's a pointer at the president. I never thought for a minute it blew up in my face so bad. I'm sorry. Truly I am. Thank you, Miss Lloyd. I'd like you to testify to that effect when this goes to trial. It ought to go a long way towards proving that the assassination was a sham.
Ugh, what's wrong with you people? Do any of you know what's good for you?
My sympathies, Mr. Knight. Had you successfully removed me from this case you'd intended, perhaps then you could have kept your pawn quiet. Did it just go off? So let me get this straight. You told Tabby, if you slip about our fake assassination plot, we'll have you convicted for murder? Or something like that?
Of all the dirty... I said no such thing.
President Wang?
Give it up, Knight. It's time we came clean. It's our only choice.
So, Mr. President, you admit it. You admit that there was a plot to fake an assassination attempt.
I do. I'm sorry.
But why? Why do something like that? His popularity.
My popularity, I knew it, has been out on the wane back home. I thought surviving an attempt on my life might give me the boost I needed. I know what we did was wrong, so yes, it was all lies, all of it.
And the bullet in the vest?
It was planned ahead of time. It wasn't hit by anything today.
A prop used in the state assassination attempt. The flattened bullet was also planned ahead of time. But then, what was up with the killer?
Our plan got out somehow. And then he just appeared, hell-bent on turning our fake assassination into a real one.
But the killer doesn't work like that. The killer has a client always. I think his client was Rook. Hence the red raincoat, I suppose. He'd hoped to get in close enough as the fake assassin to finish the job.
There's one thing I don't understand, though.
Oh? And what would that be?
Why did Rook have to die? If the whole thing was fake, how did he wind up getting killed for real?
That's true. And therein lies the real question.
He was a fine bodyguard, the best in fact. He may not have been a native of Zengpa, but he was someone I could fully trust.
Mr. Rook must have been really something to gain the trust of someone who would have hide from his own shadow.
Sounds like he was as trustworthy to the president as I am to you, huh, sir?
I believe that's for me to say, Detective, not you. Mr. Rook must have known about the plan too, then, correct?
He wasn't aware of any specific details, so not really. I tried to involve him, but he refused.
And you would have done well to listen to him.
This is a tragedy. The life of a good man has been wasted.
What was so great about him anyway? What's gotten into him?
He was just another piece on the board, there to protect you, nothing more. Mr. Knight, how could you? Who was it that actually got along with your plan, huh, Mr. President?
Well, that pious coward backed down when you needed him to step up the most.
I value your support too, of course, but...
Look, I'm your chief bodyguard now. That's all that matters. And now that spineless fool Rook is gone, things are gonna change around here. Thanks to me, genius strategist, grandmaster, rightful leader of this team.
We are all well aware of your ambitions, Knight, but doesn't this seem a little imprudent to you?
Why? My plan this time was perfect, as they always are, and as they always will be. That's quite a statement. Especially considering that your perfect plan was an abject failure.
Yeah, no thanks to you.
And that buffoon Rook. And how exactly was it Mr. Rook's fault?
If he hadn't died, the killer would have never come after me.
And I wouldn't have had to let you on this plane.
Please, Mr. Knight, you mustn't talk like that.
Fine. The guy died protecting you, Mr. President. I'm sure that's just what he always wanted. But did he die protecting the president? Wait, I thought the whole assassination thing was fake. Oh, come on! Do I have to say everything twice? We planned a fake assassination, but someone else came along and tried to make it real. 2 shots were fired, remember? Like you said, Edgeworth, one of them was the bullet I shot through the balloon. But the second, that wasn't me. Oh, really? Then who did fire it? The real assassin, but not the killer. His plan was to come after the president with a knife. No, the most likely suspect here is the piece cowering, quietly in the corner. Our little, white queen over there. What?
Miss Lloyd?
Again with this? I'm not your dang assassin. Was that really true? I, for one, don't believe it. The gun in the trash, can. It can only belong to you. Knight's Gambit. As soon as I shot that balloon, I rushed over to help escort Rook, the president. Help Rook escort the president back onto the plane. I left Rook here in the room while I secured the president in the safe room. Then when I came back out, Rook was lying there on the ground. Miss Journalist must have shot Rook while we were escorting the president off stage. I suspect he did it. No, he did it. Knight killed him. That single killer shot was fired by the gun you found in the trash can. So you don't actually know when the victim was struck by the bullet, do you? The Knight doesn't protect the Rook, Edgeworth. He protects the king. You want to translate? He means that his only concern was protecting the president. Lose the king and you lose the game. Isn't that the first rule of chess? But a win in which a key piece is sacrificed is a hollow victory indeed. Doesn't matter. It's still a victory. I helped keep the president safe. I win. Well, it's a bit early to be calling out our little match. In any case, for this is where our battle really begins. Knight's Gambit. As soon as I shot that balloon, I rushed over to help Rook escort the president back onto the plane.
Hold it!
The victim really didn't take part in your little plan, then, did he? Nope, and we kept him in the dark on the details. So he really thought the president was in danger. But wait, he must have noticed that the shot came from right next to him. I suspect that Rook was the one who involved the killer. Maybe he did. Guess we'll never know. And even if he did know it was a sham, he still had a job to do. He still had to protect his king. And he was able to make a judgment like that in a split second. Impressive. He really was as capable as they say. Not so capable that I couldn't read him like a book. I made it so he had no choice but to go along for a little performance. I left Rook here in this room while I secured the president in the safe room.
Hold it!
Why do that? You and the president both knew the whole thing wasn't real. But it had to seem real. There were people everywhere. It's not a good look, right? Imagine if someone had spotted a man who'd just been shot at, hanging out in his plane, sipping grape juice like he didn't have a care in the world. And what was the victim doing during all this? Who knows? I was in the safe room, like I said. Anyway, when I came back out, Rook was lying there on the ground.
Hold it!
Where on the ground exactly? Right where he is now, in the middle of the floor. The door to the outside was shut, though. Guess the bullet must have hit him right before he closed it. And thanks to his little blunder, my whole plan fell apart.
Mr. Knight, you mustn't talk that way.
He may have kept you safe, Mr. President, but he isn't here now to save your good name. I call that dereliction of duty. What else would you call it? An honorable try, which is more than what you try to give, I'd say. Sorry, but that's just how it is. Miss Journalist must have shot Rook while we were escorting the president off stage.
Hold it!
Weren't you and Miss Rook both carrying bulletproof attache cases? Mr. Rook, weren't you and Mr. Rook both carrying bulletproof attache cases? Yeah, opened them right after Rook spotted the laser sight. We moved into covering positions and used them to shield the president. So the bullet that hit Mr. Rook traveled through a gap in that defensive shield. Do you really believe Miss Lloyd to be that skilled of a marksperson? No, she was aiming for the president. That makes her a lousy shot. So it's pure coincidence that Mr. Rook was hit. And the bullet simply happened to find its way past your attache cases and through the gap in his vest. Seems crazy to me too, but the facts are the facts. It was a shot in a million, but the shooter hit the bullseye,
and the proof is in your hands.
He wanted to be the new head of security, that's why he killed Rook.
That single killer shot was fired by the gun you found in the trash can.
Hold it!
So the second shot had nothing to do with you.
Right, that one was fired by your little friend. Imagine the scoop she'd have bagged if it had hit its mark.
I'm a journalist, you hear? I don't make facts, I report them.
Yeah, a journalist who signed up to a fake assassination plan in the hopes of getting a story.
That's not...
Look, I'll admit it, I set the whole thing up. And your role was to aim that laser pointer at the president. It's not my fault that there wasn't enough for you. You were the one who decided to bring a gun to the party. Who knows, maybe you thought if you kept on shooting, you could shut me up too.
So Mr. Knight suggesting that he fired one shot and then Miss Lloyd fired one more. Yeah, basically implying that Tabby also had a gun on her. Beats me where she could have got one from, but hey. His entire testimony is pure conjecture. He can't prove any of it. You're right. Let's hit him with some cold, hard, undeniable evidence. I think I know what to use, what evidence to use. Found a trash can on the left side. 2 spent bullets, same model. The gun fired twice.
Objection!
Yep. He said she only fired once. The gun fired twice. So you contended it was you who shot the balloon, and Miss Lloyd who shot Mr. Rook. I think that we need to check his gun now also. Are you sure about that?
Sure, I'm sure.
While what you proposed would indeed match up with the total number of shots. The gun for the trash can itself has also been fired twice. Now, why would the supposed number of shots heard from the gun differ from the number of spent rounds? It's simple, because it was planted by the real perpetrator of the crime. Somebody faked the evidence. Yes, and if you think about it, the reason for doing so is obvious. To ensure that whoever found the gun would conclude that the shooter had been in the spectator area. In order to do that, they had to make it seem as if both shots had come from one weapon. I get it, so that's why it's got 2 spent rounds, huh? Precisely. As we have already proven, the bullet that burst the balloon came from a different weapon. Which makes it entirely possible that the bullet which killed Mr. Rook didn't come from this gun either. Heh, nice work, Edgeworth. That's some high-grade sleuthing. But why don't you get to the point? You've come this far, spit it out. Oh, I intend to, don't worry. The person who really shot Mr. Rook was... Knight.
Take that!
You, Mr. Knight. You're the one who murdered Mr. Rook.
Oh, finally got the courage to say it, huh? Surely not. Surely you wouldn't have.
It wasn't only the killer who tried to take advantage of this fake murder plot. You killed Mr. Rook, hoping that he would look like an accidental victim of the bungled assassination. With the president locked away in the safe room and the door of the airplane tightly closed. It was just you and Mr. Rook alone, together. And that was, when the third bullet was fired, right into your colleague's body.
Objection!
Wait, you're really gonna claim
There's a third one now?
it's his gun. If we check his gun.
You just said only 2 gunshots were heard. Want to tell me how that works?
When the plane was closed, nobody heard the gunshot. This plane is heavily armored. Nobody would hear the other shot. And the monitor that was smashed was probably him killing Rook.
Objection!
Airplane cabins are practically soundproof, Mr. Knight, if you close the door. Yeah, exactly. Nothing can be heard from the outside, not even gunfire. But wasn't the president right next door? Very true, which means he may have heard the shot himself. Well, Mr. President.
I didn't hear anything.
But you can observe this room for your security feed, can you not?
The camera in this room isn't normally on. I have to manually switch it on when I enter the safe room.
And that's what you did this time too, right?
Well, that is...
What's gotten into him? Mr. President, this is vitally important. Please, President Wang.
Fine, I was busy hiding under the bed, covering my ears.
What? Even though you knew the whole thing wasn't real?
Yes, because I hate the sound of guns. Just the slightest hint of that awful noise and, oh, it's just too much. Too much.
That there is sadder than a pot of overcooked crawfish. Mr. Knight, you saw that President Wang was cowering beneath the bed? And what's more, you knew from the monitor bank the security camera for this room hadn't been switched on. Which means you knew that the circumstances were perfect for you to fire the third shot straight at Mr. Rook.
Knight, how could you? Could you really have betrayed my trust so horribly?
You think I killed the old half-wit? You don't trust me much, huh? This is the thanks I get for putting my life on the line for you the day after.
I want to believe in you, but...
I don't get it. You don't get it. What is there to doubt here? What don't you don't believe that the girl over there could have done it? No, because this gun isn't the murder weapon. We know this from the number of bullets fired.
Yeah? Well, how do you know there wasn't a spent bullet from the start?
What? Someone could have fired a bullet from that gun yesterday, or the day before. Then today, another bullet. The bullet that hit Rook.
That's pure speculation, pal, and you know it.
Maybe.
But can you prove it's not true?
Not with any certainty, no.
You're nothing without conclusive proof.
So come on, the proof is what he's holding in his hands right there. I guarantee you that's the murder weapon.
A single piece of evidence straight through my heart. I dare you.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
There must be something. Mustn't there, Mr. Edgeworth? If we can't prove it, Tabby's... the evidence is in his hand. It's his gun. Please, Ruffles. I messed up. I know I did. I should have never have done what I did. Not even for a scoop. But murder, nah, that ain't me. Ain't a murderous bone in my body. Conclusive proof. If only I could prove that Knight's gun is the murder weapon. Wait, perhaps I can. If you at least had the bullet that burst the balloon, you might have a scrap of credibility. Imagine, you could have run forensics to see if it matched my gun. If we had the bullet that killed Mr. Rook, forensics would tell us which gun it was fired from. No proof, no case. End of conversation.
Objection!
Hold it right there. What now? You're not about to claim you do have proof? Of course I do. This ought to be good. Alright, bring it on. Show me this proof of yours. The bullet that killed Mr. Rook is the key to ending our little game. Very well. My conclusive evidence is... not in my possession. Not currently in my possession. Alright then, thanks for playing, folks, but that's game over. However, it is here in this room. What? As we know, the bullet that killed Mr. Rook passed through his body. But where did it end its journey? Perhaps we should cast our minds back to an earlier conversation. After passing through his body, the bullet that took Mr. Rook's life then found itself lodged in the vest. He's right, if the president hadn't been wearing that vest, things could have been a lot worse. But now, of course, we know that the so-called assassination attempt was a complete fabrication. The vest was prepared in advance, made to look as if it had been hit by a bullet. Right, so the bullet is in this room somewhere. Which begs the question, where is the real bullet? The monitor! The monitor! I like it. A twist. That's good stuff, Edgeworth. Come on, then. Don't keep us in suspense. The monitor! The broken monitor! Does any of the evidence point to where the bullet that killed Mr. Rook might have ended up? Security monitors. Yes, one monitor is missing. Yes. Here.
Take that!
There is something very clearly missing from this room. Yes. A prosecutor with some common sense. Take a look at the bank of security monitors.
Oh!
I see you've caught on, Mr. President. Splendid. There are screens here showing views from all around this airplane, inside and out. The only external angle not covered is the right-hand side of the aircraft. And that's because one of the monitors is missing. There was a monitor in this room, in this space previously, wasn't there, Mr. President?
There was. I have no idea what my plushie is doing there now, though.
It appears to be someone's vain attempt to hide what is obviously lacking. But where did it go, and why? The why is easy enough to answer, because it was struck by a bullet. Or if we were to believe that the bullet in the vest was the real deal, then anything that hinted at the existence of another bullet had to be removed. So, where did that missing monitor go? Where indeed? I believe that it must be hidden somewhere on this plane. After all, there wouldn't have been time to dispose of it outside the aircraft. Detective Gumshoe, conduct a search if you will.
Right away, sir.
Mr. President, extraterritoriality, remember.
I have no objection to the search. Please, go ahead. If it will help us discover the truth behind what happened to Rook, I will not stand in your way.
What are you? I don't believe this. Rook this, Rook that. Don't you ever think about anybody else. The search has been authorized, Detective. If you wouldn't mind.
Sir, I found the monitor.
Excellent work. Now go ahead and extract the bullet.
Let's see. If I put my hand in here and just... Come on, come on. Got it!
Well, would you look at that? Blood. This is the bullet that killed Mr. Rook. There's no doubt about it. Found inside a security monitor. This seems to be a bullet that killed Mr. Rook. And there you have it, Mr. Knight. The single piece of evidence you requested. Straight through your heart. Even you must now admit, if this bullet didn't come from the spectator area gun, then Miss Lloyd cannot be Mr. Rook's killer. What, no pitchy comeback? Detective, have forensics analyze the bullet for striations and compare them to the gun we found.
Yes, sir. We'll get the evidence you need. You can count on it.
Alright, let's hear what forensics has to say.
Our findings are as follows, sir. Firstly, the blood on the bullet is indeed that of the victim,
Proving that it was the bullet that killed Mr. Rook.
Secondly, we found Mr. Knight's fingerprints on the gun.
Probably, from when I handed all the evidence over to him. Now for the key part. The striations. If they're not a match, then Miss Lloyd is in the clear.
Lastly, the striations on the bullet are a match with this weapon.
What? What? But how could that be?
No way.
Oh, come on.
There's no doubt about it, sir, that this is the gun that fired the bullet.
Oh, how? Well, isn't that something?
Conclusive proof that I was right.
What's the matter? You didn't think you had me backed into a corner, did you? Guess you misread the board. Because the only one backed into a corner here is you. No, this is it. There's gotta be an explanation. There's no denying it. Forensics prove that the gun and the bullet are a match. The bullet that killed Rook was fired from the gun you found in the spectator area. So who pulled the trigger? It can't have been me. I was up on stage, which leaves your little friend. The hack, killed Rook, sees the murderer, and you just proved it.
Your move, Edgeworth, but just remember two things. One, where you found the gun. And two, which gun the fatal bullet came from. Whichever way you look at it. I can't have been the shooter.
How did it come to this?
Me and the president, we admitted to faking the assassination attempt. Now it's your turn to admit something. Who the killer really is.
There's no way Tabby did it, is there? Don't let him get to you, okay? We just need to go over his statements again. There must be something further we can deduce from them. Okay, let's do this, Mr. Edgeworth. Knight's counter.
There's no denying it. Forensics proved that the gun and the bullet are a match.
Hold it!
No, that's...
Objection!
What was it you said? That forensics would back you up? How does it feel to be shot in the chest by your own conclusive proof, huh? Not so good, I imagine.
The bullet and the gun are a match, Mr. Edgeworth. That kinda has to mean that Tabby pulled the trigger, no? Even so, I simply can't accept that.
But sir, there's no denying the evidence.
There isn't. So what am I missing? If I assume Miss Lloyd to be innocent, then the gun and the bullet shouldn't be a match. What is it, Kay? I was just thinking, if the evidence points to something that doesn't seem possible, then maybe there's something wrong with it. You're asking me to call the evidence into question. Well, there's no way Tabby did this, right? So if the evidence says that she did, then the problem must lie there. You seem very sure about this. Call it my great thief's intuition. Intuition, huh? Still, she could be right. I simply don't believe Miss Lloyd to be a malicious liar, which means... as someone who believes that evidence is everything in court, the irony is not lost on me, but... if I were to call a piece of evidence into question, it would have to be... what's fake? The gun or the bullet? This is it. This is the end of the case. I just gotta think this carefully now. The gun or the bullet? What is fake here? Ballistics match the gun. If something untoward is going on here, it would have to involve the weapon, not the bullet. After all, we only just recovered the bullet a little while ago. Furthermore, we know that Mr. Knight had an opportunity to handle the gun.
Now hand over that evidence you have gathered, and remove yourself from this plane.
I'll do as he says if I were you, Edgeworth. This can't really be the end of the line, can it? Indeed, he had ample opportunity. There's no doubt about that this gun is the weapon that was used in the crime. Which means it must belong to...
Take that!
The gun belongs to Mr. Knight. He switched them around. This has to be it. Switch for the one found in the spectator area. Bullet markings match those of the bullet fired in the incident.
The bullet that killed Rook was fired from the gun you found in the spectator area.
So who pulled the trigger?
It cannot be me, I was up on stage, which leaves your little friend.
Objection!
Admit it, you switched the guns, didn't you, Mr. Knight? That's why the markings match the weapon in the question. It was yours all along. Heh. An intriguing move there, Edgeworth, and... You must have made the switch when I handed over the evidence. While I was busy trying to make the case for remaining on the investigation. You took the laser sight from the gun we found in the trash can. He switched it when he had the evidence on him. And put it on your own. Then, not long afterwards, you handed that gun back to me instead of the one we found. I did, huh? You think I did somehow, I somehow knew you'd find, let alone run forensics on that bullet sometime in the future? Is that so strange? You're a chess player, after all. A man well used to thinking several moves ahead.
I'm flattered, but much as it pains me to admit it, you're overestimating my abilities. Besides,
Do you even have any proof that I made the switch? This is it. Knight's counterpart 2.
the gun is the same model as mine. Weird, sure, but it's just a coincidence. And look, there's a laser sight attached. Also, take a look in the cylinder. 2 spent bullets. Just what we'd expect to see. So what proof do you have that I switched the original gun out for mine, huh? None. That's what.
You say I'm overestimating your abilities. You surprise me.
What can I say? I'm a modest guy. More modest than you, that's for sure. Everywhere except at the chessboard, that is.
Well, I don't see a chessboard here, do you?
Shame. Still, guess that gives you a nice excuse.
I didn't mess up. I just didn't have the right evidence. I don't think I'll be the one making excuses, rather. I didn't mess up. They just got lucky with the evidence. Will be your excuse, I'd imagine.
The gun is the same model as mine. Weird, sure, but just a coincidence.
Hold it!
A coincidence, you say?
Or was it a necessity? It can't be both, pal. Sure it can. We bodyguards need to protect the president. And the girl needed to use a gun, but she probably doesn't know a whole lot about them. It's not so far-fetched for her to pick something she's heard of that we also happen to use.
Okay, but why a revolver? Why is that your go-to gun? Probably something to do with its ease of use. No spent casings to chase down, for example.
Exactly. The perfect tool for a job where you can't afford to fail, or don't know what you're doing. Still, coincidence, necessity. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference either way. And look, there's a laser sight attached.
Hold it!
Because you swapped it on there.
Put up or shut up, Edgeworth. Where's your evidence?
Well, that is.
Don't go making accusations you can't back up. Or did your daddy never teach you that? As it stands, the facts are in my favor here. Also, take a look in the cylinder. 2 spent bullets. Just what we'd expect to see.
Hold it!
I've been meaning to ask, actually. What about your own weapon? How many spent bullets are in this cylinder?
This old girl here? Well, now. I let loose a few rounds earlier, as you saw.
He reloads his gun every time he fires it.
But even if I were to tell you how many there were at the time, you'd have no way of verifying that.
Of course, in order to swap the guns properly, he'd have to maintain the right number of bullets per gun. He didn't have the chance to put on any gloves, though, which means the bullets.
Alright, the bullets are gonna have his fingerprints on it. Alright, I think it's about time you did the right thing and resign, don't you? Game's all about done, you see. The bullets are gonna have... So what proof do you have that I switched the original gun out for mine, huh? None, that's what.
Hold it! Objection!
The proof is... something you clearly don't have. If you did, you'd have made your move by now. We do have some proof, right here, Mr. Edgeworth.
We won't be given the chance to investigate any further. I'll have to work with what we've gathered. Think, Miles, think. Consider all the possibilities.
If you got the goods, it's now or never.
How are we supposed to prove he switched the guns? Unfortunately, we don't have any direct evidence of his wrongdoing. But that in itself is proof of a kind.
Because otherwise, the striations shouldn't line up like they do, right, sir?
Right. We must carefully consider and infer what we can from the evidence he brings up in his testimony. The truth is in there somewhere. It's going to be the bullets. But the question now is, which statement do I use the gun on? Also, take a look at the cylinder. We spend bullets, just what we'd expect to see. It's either this one, or what proof do you have that I switched the original gun out for mine? It's probably the proof one, but we'll just start with this one here. Mr. Knight's revolver, let's see. There is an obvious flaw in your testimony. Okay, no, it's not that one. It's gonna be this one then. So what proof do you have that I switched the original gun out for mine? Huh? None, that's what. It's gonna be here. Because his bullets that are in the revolver, when he had it behind his back, he was switching the ammunition too. The fact that he managed to switch the ammunition so quickly like that, shows how proficient he is with revolvers. But, let's see this. It's gotta be this. I can't think anything else here. It's gotta be this, yeah. Mr. Knight's revolver.
Objection!
Oh, it is. I have your proof. Right here.
That's your proof? I think you've been working too hard, Edgeworth.
Not the gun itself, the evidence it carries. Evidence that will prove once and for all that it does in fact belong to you.
I'm looking forward to this. Go ahead, make your move.
What's about to come into play? The rook? The bishop? Not a pawn, surely. The evidence the gun will provide takes the form of fingerprints. His fingerprints are going to be on the bullets. Fingerprints. Namely, your fingerprints tonight. My prints? Ha! Of course my prints are on the gun. You handed it right to me when you gave up the evidence. How could they not be on there? What if I told you there are prints on a part of the gun that you shouldn't have touched at any point? What? Where? You can't prove that. Oh, but I can. There is a place where your fingerprints could never have been left if things happen as you say. Allow me to present the final piece of evidence that will bring our game to its rightful conclusion. Here, look closely at the cylinder, Detective.
2 bullets fired, but where are the prints we're looking for, sir?
These. You did indeed switch the guns when I handed you the evidence. But if that were all you had done, your deception would have been easily detected. Because the number of bullets fired by each gun was different.
There are 2 spent bullets in the gun we found.
Yeah, but what about Mr. Knight's gun? We know he fired 2 bullets from the stage into the balloon. And he fired another bullet into Mr. Rook, ending his life. Also, look at that pose that he's doing. The pose that he's doing, that's what they did in the West. Back in the West, that's what they would do. And if it was a single action, they would just slam their hand forward on the hammer. That's just to keep firing it. That's how they fired it back in the West, to rapid fire a single action. So 3 bullets in total, plus the few odd ones he let loose in shock during our little game. And after each shot, he reloaded his gun out of habit. With his bare hands, of course. Officer, where exactly were Mr. Knight's fingerprints found? The ones you mentioned in your report.
Sir, they were found on the exterior of the weapon, but also on the bullet themselves.
I'm not sure they could have gotten there just from me handing you the evidence, Mr. Knight.
That's...
And there we have it. Proof that you did indeed switch the guns. This gun, the one which fired the bullet that killed Mr. Rook, is yours. And in taking his life, you are the true assassin.
I didn't,
Checkmate.
No! It was going to be the new chief of security.
Yep, like I thought.
That blasted Rook. If it hadn't been for him, I would have been in charge by now. I would have been in control of the whole team. My plan was perfect. The fake assassination was supposed to be flawless.
Detective Gumshoe.
Right away, sir. Curse you, Edgeworth. Our game isn't over yet.
I'm afraid this is as far as we go for today. The next moves we play will be in the courtroom.
But it's not fair! It's not fair! Mr. Edgeworth, I owe you a debt of gratitude. You exposed a murder within the ranks of my own personal guard. I will not soon forget that.
He's suddenly very presidential again, now that we're back outside the plane.
I saw it, you know, when I first proposed the fake assassination to him.
You want me to handle it, not Rook?
Rook refused, but I can rely on you, can I?
Of course, sir. You can count on me. I'll put together a plan that can't possibly fail. And he'll play his part like the pawn he is.
The hatred in his eyes was plain to see. He despised poor Rook. I was not entirely comfortable about moving forward with Knight in charge of our little deception. And looking back, I think he sensed my discomfort. I can't help thinking I played a part in his decision to end Rook's life.
Mr. President, none of this would have happened if you hadn't plotted to fake an attempt on your life. That was your crime, and it's a crime you will have to live with.
You are right. I can only apologize for the part I played. And I will no doubt be made to pay for my actions in one way or another. But I thank you nonetheless. You solved the riddle of Rook's demise, and for that I shall be eternally grateful. I will be here in your country for a little while longer yet. But when I have returned home, perhaps you will visit us in Zangpa. You will always be welcome.
Oh, thank you. Y'all don't know how grateful I am. All's well that ends well. Miss Lloyd, the accusation of murder made against you was of course entirely groundless. But the fact remains that you were a willing participant in the state's assassination attempt. The police will no doubt wish to speak to you about the matter. You should be aware that you may well be punished for your actions. I know, and I'm awful sorry about everything. Truly I am. I understand your desire for a scoop, but there are limits. There sure are. I got me some serious thinking to do. You did it, Mr. Edgeworth. That was something else. Local prosecutor solved assassination conundrum. Earns eternal gratitude of president. How's that for a headline? Hey, that there's my department. Mr. Prosecutor, how does it feel to solve such an important case? You must be over the moon. She certainly doesn't stay down for long. No comment. Dang, you're one tight-lipped son of a gun. As well as I should be. This case is not over yet.
It isn't. How come, sir?
Because until we unravel the story behind this, the case will never be completely over. The calling card, left by the assassin, Shelly the killer when he made his escape, adorned with distinctive she-shell emblem. Somebody hired him to kill the president, Zhang Fa.
Take that!
The killer's calling card. Mr. the Killer has yet to complete his assignment.
You mean he might still try to murder the president?
Hope I'm wrong, but if I'm not, this could all blow up into something more sinister yet. It could be the vice president that wants to do it. You know, it's always, in a lot of movies where the president is assassinated, it's usually the vice president that tries to do it. As one would expect with the attempted assassination of a president, the case was all over the news. And my preparations for Mr. Knight's trial were constantly interrupted by requests from the press. There wasn't a person in the land who didn't know about the case. Everybody was talking about it. But in the midst of the frenzy that followed, nobody noticed that this was only the first move in a game far bigger than any of us could have imagined. The end. There we go. We completed the case. We did it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. There are still 4 cases left in this game in total. So I had fun. The first case was actually really good. And also, I will say this. The first case in Ace Attorney Investigations 2 was way better than the first case in Ace Attorney Investigations 1. I like the first case in this game a lot more. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, drop a like. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.